How's it going, everybody? For today's beer review, we're going to be taking a look at Sixpoint Brewery's Resin, a double IPA. So here we have Resin by Sixpoint Brewery. Now, Sixpoint is a brewery that I've been seeing kind of exploding on the internet lately, and I've really been wanting to try it just solely based on recommendations from friends and reading reviews too. And I was excited while I was in Dallas to be able to find a six-pack of this stuff. So it says, I've never had anything by Sixpoint before, but they do seem to have quite a reputation. It says, beer is culture. It is 9.1% ABV, 103 IBUs. That's insane. And it says 9.5 SRM. Have no clue what that means. Don't really care. And on the back it just says, Resin is not about fearing the mysterious and potent force of the hop cone. It's about embracing it. Feel it coat your tongue, tango with the malt, and slap some bitter scents into you. Yes, it stings, but feels so good at the same time. Now that's mad science. Alright, so it sounds to me like they're saying it's a very bitter IPA, and that's something that I don't see breweries able to pull off too often, is have a very strong double but keep that bitterness intact, because usually malts and alcohol take things over and it becomes quite sweet. But this seems to be the big deal of this is the bitterness, so we'll see. I'm going to be drinking this out of a standard IPA glass, so let's crack this can open and see what Resin is like. Really strange shaped cans too, as you can see. Straight out, the color is kind of a nice orange color. I'm going to give this a center pour here. It has what I would call about a medium head potential with an aggressive. Now, it did form up big, but I also poured it very hard. So, medium-high head potential. About 2 fingers of just slightly off-white, very dense, thick head. Holding this one up into the light. It's a little bit lighter than what you see a lot of times and a lot clearer in doubles. It is very clear and easy to see through. The color is what I would kind of call like a golden honey orange color, as you can see. As far as smell goes, nice. I'm getting a lot of pine, citrus, grapefruit, and grapefruit rind. Very savory and bitter smelling grapefruit rind, which I'm looking forward to. It also seems like some of those more potently sweet fruits like mango, peach, and pineapple aren't present in the smell, which I'm happy about, because I'm going into this one with the bitterness expectation, not a sweetness expectation. Yeah, it seems to pretty much, at least as far as smell goes, everything that I want it to be is there. Lots of pine, citrus, hops, grapefruit, and grapefruit rind. Just quite savory and bitter smelling. We won't know until we taste it, though, so let's give it one. Nice. Thankfully, it's not super sweet up front, just very lightly. Extremely well balanced IPA. There's just a very light, almost like neutral sweetness up front, and then it fades into decently bitter pine, citrus, and hops on the back end. It's quite oily, pretty smooth drinking. I like it a lot. Once again, I almost always have this complaint whenever I drink IPAs, so maybe it's just me. It's very good. I would like just a tad bit more bitterness in it. But as I've said before in previous reviews, bitterness is something very subject to change as your palate changes also. How you perceive it is subject to change. So this is probably quite bitter to a lot of people. And some people may even find no bitterness in it. So It's a good amount of bitterness, though. I'm definitely getting it. So I think what I'm looking for in a beer is almost unrealistic. So I'm not going to deduct points for that. As far as a score goes, really high. In the style, I'd rate this at about a 97.5 out of 100. It's very good. As far as my own personal score goes, I give it about a 94. I feel pretty comfortable with those scores. It's pretty much a perfect representation of the IPA style as far as my own personal opinion goes. It's quite good. It's just there's a tiny little something that could be there, and it's kind of hard to put my finger on what it is. I think if they used like, I think I figured out what it is. If they would use lemon drop hops like they use for the Stone Delicious IPA, this would be phenomenal. It just needs, it's not bitterness, it needs like a slightly kind of acidic, tart sourness. Definitely not like a Belgian sour. Something like lemongrass, something like that. Man, if they threw a little bit of that in there, and maybe there is that in there, I don't know, but it needs more than at that point. But if it had just that little tiny lemony tart sourness to it, this would be a perfect 100. But as it stands, A+ to the style. I gave it an A- in my own personal enjoyment of it. Probably about an A to an A-. It's very good stuff, and I'm glad I bought a 6-pack of it. Surprisingly, my chest is actually pretty warm from the alcohol percentage, but it is not coming through in the taste at all. Not boozy one bit. So that has been my review of Sixpoint's Resin Double IPA. Hope you guys enjoy my beer review as always, and stay tuned for the next one.